All right, so you've got your marching orders on what to do with Genet this week. So for this week as well, we'll have a small discussion question to talk about where we're going to sort of ask questions about power and about how you see power. But what I'm really interested in this week is that you work on finalizing a lot of your final project, right? Whatever that final project is going to be. Yes, it's going to be due next week. I would like it before you leave for break. That way I can take a look at it and I can have grades and at least some ideas of what we are looking at for when you come back, right? Because when you come back, you'll have that week and then we're pretty much done. So again, right, as we talked about before, I want as much of your project in final shape as you can possibly get it at this point in time, right? Because when I get that information back to you, I want revisions only. I don't want this massive revamp of your project. So this week, be sure that you've got whatever sources that you've been working on and that you have those in visibly in your project, right? I do not want to have to go through your project trying to figure out who you are talking about, what sources you're using. Make sure that you're using sources from the class, as we talked about before. If you did contact me and ask about other source materials, then I likely gave you permission to do that, right? If you did not get that permission from me, you can still ask this week. It is a little bit of a risk, but I would like you, of course, to use the source materials that we've got from this class. So I'm talking about the plays we've seen up to this point, definitely looking at your Kierkegaard, your Sartre, your Camus source materials, right, for absurdism and existentialism. But I'd like to make sure that you have those visible in your project somewhere. Either this is the basis for your project or you're constantly coming back to them and citing them throughout your project, right? If you're talking about something and saying this is why, I'm talking about this because it's reflected in the source material. Fantastic. That's exactly what I want you to do. In addition, what I'd like this week is for you to be finalizing where you really think your page count is, where your length is going to be if you're doing something that's recorded, where your slide play amount is if you're doing something with more of a presentation format. I want you to have a good idea of that, and I would like you to have as few slides slash pages slash places in your recording where you say, placeholder, I'm working on this, right? Get as many of those ready to go as possible, right? I should see somewhere between 75 to 90% of your project finished when you turn it in next week. And again, turn it in on Tuesday. If you want to turn it in before, if you're ready to turn it in this week, please do. I will get a chance to look at it and work on it. I think the earlier you can put it in, the better. But also make sure, right, it's in a format that you feel is fairly close to final, right? That's going to be very important. Anything that you have not done throughout the semester, art, group work, try to wrap that up as well this week. If nothing else, wrap it up over the holiday. So, you have a week between now and then to sort of figure out where you are, and then we will go from there. So, all right, this week feels like a little bit of a shorter week because I'm sort of giving you that time to really focus your attention on your project. That way, next week, when you are out and about, when you do your Thanksgiving thing, whatever that is, you will not necessarily need to be working on project stuff. You are going to more than likely just be reading. And that is going to be important, right? Reading your Genet, making sure you're getting through the balcony, making sure you're experiencing it because it's a very different play than some of the ones we've looked at before. And you will want to make sure and take your time with it. So that's what we have for you this week. Enjoy, right, learning about Genet. Enjoy starting the balcony. And I'm really looking forward to your papers, projects, recordings, whatever they happen to be. They from what I saw in your expanded outlines, I think you've got some good stuff coming. So I'm looking forward to it. All right, I will see you on the discussion boards.